My ex-wife took the house. She took the cars. She took the savings account, the furniture, even the dog. Her lawyer was better than mine. Her lies were more convincing than my truth. I walked out of that courtroom with basically nothing. Except for one piece of paper she'd signed 5 years earlier. One contract she'd forgotten all about. One document that was about to make her regret every single thing she'd done to me. Let me tell you how I lost everything and got it all back in the most satisfying way possible. My name is Marcus. I'm 41 years old now, but this story starts when I was 34. That's when I met my ex-wife, Christine. She was beautiful, charming, ambitious. Everything I thought I wanted in a partner. We met at a tech conference in San Diego. I was presenting my app idea. She was there scouting for her venture capital firm. We hit it off immediately. Within 6 months, we were living together. Within a year, we were married. I should have seen the red flags, her obsession with money. The way she treated service workers, how she talked about her exes. But I was in love. Or what I thought was love. Turns out it was just infatuation mixed with stupidity. Christine made good money. Really good money. She was a partner at her firm, pulling in about $400,000 a year. I was doing okay as a software developer, making around $95,000. Not bad, but nothing compared to her. She made sure I knew it too. The first 2 years were good. Great even. We bought a house together. A beautiful 4-bedroom in the suburbs with a pool and a 3-car garage. Christine insisted we buy in her name only because her credit was better. I was stupid enough to agree. We took vacations, fancy dinners. She drove a Tesla. I drove a paid-off Honda that she constantly made jokes about. "When are you going to get a real car, Marcus?" she'd say, laughing like it was funny. But things were good enough that I ignored the little digs, the small comments. The way she'd introduce me at parties as my husband, he does computer stuff, while spending 20 minutes talking about her latest deal. I was working on my own project too. A software platform for small businesses. Inventory management, customer tracking, automated invoicing. Nothing revolutionary, but useful. Something that could actually help people. Christine thought it was a waste of time. "Why are you building something for small businesses?" she'd ask. "There's no money in that. Think bigger. Think venture scale." But I didn't want venture scale. I wanted to build something good. Something that worked. Something that mattered. I worked on it nights and weekends, slowly building it out. Getting beta users. Making improvements. And then something changed. 3 years into our marriage, Christine came to me with an opportunity. Her firm was looking at investing in a new tech platform. The partner leading the deal had dropped out last minute, some kind of conflict of interest. They needed someone to step in. "You should do it," Christine said. "It's perfect for you. It's a software company. Right in your wheelhouse." The company was called DataSync. They did cloud-based data management for enterprises. The founder was looking for $2 million in series of funding. Christine's firm was interested but needed a partner to do the technical due diligence and sit on the board if the deal went through. "This could be huge for you," Christine pressed. "Board experience. Equity in a growing company. A chance to be part of something big." I was hesitant. I had my own project. I didn't want to get distracted. But Christine kept pushing. "Marcus, this is a real opportunity. Not some small-time business app. This is actual money. Actual success. Don't you want that?" So I said yes. I signed on as a technical advisor to Christine's firm for the DataSync deal. I'd evaluate the technology, assess the team, provide ongoing oversight if we invested. In exchange, I'd get a small advisory fee and some equity if the deal closed. But there was a problem. Christine's firm had a policy about conflicts of interest. Partners couldn't have family members directly involved in deals. It created too many complications. Christine had a solution. "Put it in my name," she said. "The advisory contract, the equity, all of it. We're married. What's mine is yours anyway, right? This way there's no conflict, the deal goes through, and we both benefit." It made sense at the time. We were married. We were a team. I trusted her completely, so I agreed. The contract was drawn up with Christine as the technical advisor. Her name on every page. Her signature at the bottom. She'd be the one officially doing the work, even though I'd be doing the actual analysis and oversight. "It's just paperwork," she assured me. "A technicality. You'll do the work, I'll be the name on the contract, and we'll both reap the benefits." I should have said no. I should have walked away from the whole thing. I should have seen what she was doing. But I didn't. I spent 3 months doing deep technical analysis on DataSync, reviewing their codebase, interviewing their engineers, assessing their infrastructure, testing their product. I worked nights and weekends, barely sleeping, making sure every detail was perfect. And it was good, really good. The technology was solid. The team was talented. The market opportunity was real. I wrote a detailed report recommending the investment. Christine's firm pulled the trigger. $2 million for 20% of the company. And as part of the deal, Christine, technically, would sit on the board and hold 2% personal equity as the technical advisor. Except I was doing all the work. I attended every board meeting, reviewed every technical decision, helped them hire engineers, guided their product roadmap. Christine would just show up, sign whatever needed signing, and take credit. I told myself it didn't matter. We were married. Her success was my success. The equity was ours, even if her name was on it. For 2 years, I poured myself into DataSync, helped them scale from 10 employees to 50, from $500,000 in revenue to $5 million, from a scrappy startup to a real company. And my own project? It fell by the wayside. I barely touched it. Didn't have time. Didn't have energy. I was too busy building someone else's company while my wife took the credit. Year 5 of our marriage, things started falling apart. Christine was distant. Always working late. Always on her phone. Always somewhere else, even when she was sitting right next to me. I asked her about it. She said I was being paranoid. That I was insecure. That I needed to stop being so needy. So I backed off. Gave her space. Focused on my work. But I noticed things. Charges on our credit card to restaurants I'd never been to. Hotel stays when she was supposedly at conferences. A new password on her phone. A secretiveness that hadn't been there before. I still didn't want to believe it. Didn't want to admit what was happening. Then I found the text messages. She left her iPad at home one morning. Rushed out for an early meeting and forgot it on the kitchen counter. It was synced to her phone. Messages kept popping up. From someone named Blake. Last night was amazing. Can't wait to see you again. Does he suspect anything? I felt sick. My hands were shaking as I scrolled through the messages. Months of them. Maybe longer. My wife was having an affair with some guy named Blake, and she'd been lying to me for God knows how long. I took screenshots, sent them to myself, deleted the evidence that I'd seen them. When Christine came home that night, I confronted her. She denied everything at first, said Blake was just a friend, that I was reading too much into casual messages, that I was being controlling and jealous, but I'd read the messages. I knew what they said. I knew what they meant. Finally, she stopped lying. Fine. Yes. I'm seeing someone. Are you happy now? I wasn't happy. I was devastated. But I wasn't going to stay in a marriage where I was being cheated on and gaslit. I want a divorce, I said. Christine didn't argue. Didn't beg me to stay. Didn't even seem upset. Okay, she said simply. My lawyer will be in touch. That should have been my first warning. She was too calm. Too prepared. Like she'd been expecting this. Like she'd been planning for it. Her lawyer contacted me within 2 days. A shark named Richard Kellerman. The kind of lawyer who makes $800 an hour and enjoys destroying people. I hired a lawyer too. A guy named Steve who charged $250 an hour and seemed nice enough. Competent. Experienced. He was no match for Kellerman. The divorce turned into a nightmare. Christine wanted everything. And her lawyer was making sure she got it. The house? In her name. She kept it. I'd contributed to the mortgage payments for 5 years. But my name wasn't on the deed. Didn't matter. Her house. The cars? The Tesla was in her name. My Honda was paid off, but she argued that our money had paid for the insurance and maintenance for years, so it was marital property. The judge agreed. She got the Tesla. I got to buy out my own car. The savings account? Joint account, but she'd contributed more. She got 80%. I got 20%. The furniture? She had receipts showing she'd bought most of it. She kept it. Even the dog. The dog we'd adopted together, that I'd walked every morning, that slept in my lap every night. Her name was on the adoption papers. She got the dog. I was losing everything. And the worst part? I couldn't even argue about the DataSync equity, because her name was on the contract. Legally, it was hers. I'd done all the work, but she owned it all. The divorce was finalized on a Tuesday. I signed the papers in Steve's office. Watched my marriage, my home, my life dissolve into a legal document. I moved into a studio apartment across town. One room with a kitchenette and a bathroom. My furniture was a mattress on the floor and a folding chair. I'd gone from a 4-bedroom house with a pool to this. Christine moved Blake into our house within a month. Her house legally. But still, the house I'd thought of as ours. The bed we'd slept in. The kitchen where I'd made her breakfast. The backyard where we talked about maybe having kids someday. All of it now his. I was angry, bitter, depressed. I'd lost everything to someone who'd cheated on me, lied to me, used me. And there was nothing I could do about it. Or so I thought. 3 months after the divorce was finalized, I got a phone call. From a number I didn't recognize. Is this Marcus Henderson? Yes, who's this? My name is David Chen. I'm the CEO of DataSync. I don't know if you remember me. Of course I remember you, I said. I'd spent 2 years helping build his company. What can I do for you? I'm calling because we've received an acquisition offer. Tech giant wants to buy us for $85 million. I felt my stomach drop. $85 million. DataSync was being acquired for $85 million. That's amazing, David. Congratulations. Thank you. We couldn't have done it without you. Your guidance was instrumental in getting us here. Which is why I'm calling. The board needs to vote on the acquisition. And according to our records, Christine Henderson is our technical advisor and board member. But honestly, Marcus, we both know it was really you doing the work. Christine and I are divorced, I said, as of 3 months ago. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But the contract is still in her name, which means she's the one who needs to vote on the acquisition. And she's entitled to her equity payout. After I hung up, I did the math. Christine held 2% equity in DataSync. If the company sold for $85 million, her shares were worth $1.7 million. $1.7 million for work I had done. For 2 years of nights and weekends I'd spent building that company. For every board meeting I'd attended, every decision I'd guided, every problem I'd solved. And she'd get all of it because her name was on the contract. I felt rage like I'd never felt before. White-hot, consuming rage. She'd taken everything in the divorce. The house, the money, the dog, my dignity. And now she was going to take this too. I wanted to scream. To break things. To call her and tell her exactly what I thought of her. But then I actually read the contract. Really read it. Every word. Every clause. Every line of legal text I'd skimmed over 5 years ago when I was too trusting and too stupid. And that's when I found it. Buried in Section 7, Subsection C, Paragraph 3, there was a clause I'd completely forgotten about. The technical advisor agrees to provide ongoing technical oversight and guidance to the company for the duration of their board service. In the event that the technical advisor fails to fulfill these duties, or is found to have misrepresented their technical qualifications, the company reserves the right to terminate the agreement and reclaim any equity granted under this contract. I read it again and again. My heart was pounding. Christine hadn't done any of the technical work. I had. She'd signed the contract claiming to be the technical advisor, but she didn't write a single line of code, didn't review any architecture, didn't attend meetings unless I dragged her there, didn't provide any actual technical guidance. She'd misrepresented herself. Fraud, arguably. And according to the contract, that meant the company could terminate her and reclaim the equity. I called David back immediately. David, it's Marcus again. I need to ask you something about Christine's role at DataSync. Okay. Did she ever actually do any technical work? Any code reviews, architecture discussions, technical guidance of any kind? There was a pause. Marcus, you know she didn't. That was all you. Christine would show up for board meetings, but you were the one we actually talked to about technical decisions. You were the one who helped us scale our infrastructure. You were the one who reviewed our hiring plans. Christine just signed things. So she misrepresented herself as the technical advisor? Another pause, longer this time. I suppose technically yes. Why? Because there's a clause in the contract. Section 7C3. If she misrepresented her qualifications or failed to fulfill her duties, you can terminate the agreement and reclaim the equity. Are you saying? I'm saying Christine committed fraud. She signed a contract claiming she'd provide technical oversight, and then she had me do all the work while she took the credit and the equity. That's fraud, David. And it gives you grounds to void her equity. David was quiet for a long moment. Then, Marcus, if we terminate Christine's contract, what happens to the equity? It goes back to the company. You could redistribute it, use it for employee retention, whatever you want. Or we could issue a new contract to the person who actually did the work. My heart stopped. What are you saying? I'm saying you were the real technical advisor, Marcus. You earned that equity. If we terminate Christine's contract for breach and fraud, we could turn around and issue a new one. To you. Backdated to reflect the actual work you did. Is that legal? I'll have our lawyer review the contract. But if Christine genuinely misrepresented herself and committed fraud, then yes. We'd be within our rights to terminate her and correct the situation. Give the equity to the person who actually earned it. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. This was actually happening. David, are you sure about this? Christine's lawyer will come after you. She'll fight this. Let her. We have 2 years of board meeting minutes showing that you were the one providing technical guidance. We have emails between you and our engineering team. We have Slack messages, technical documents, code reviews, all with your name on them. Christine barely knew what our product did. If she wants to fight this, we have all the evidence we need. Over the next week, DataSync's lawyers reviewed everything. The original contract, the board meeting minutes, the email records, every piece of documentation from the past 2 years. Their conclusion: Christine had committed fraud. She'd signed a contract agreeing to provide technical services she wasn't qualified to provide, then had me do the work while she took credit. Clear breach of contract. Possible criminal fraud. They sent her a formal termination letter. Effective immediately, her position as technical advisor was terminated for breach of contract and misrepresentation. Her equity was voided. And they offered me a new contract. 2% equity, same as Christine had held, in recognition of the work I'd actually done. If the acquisition went through, I'd get the $1.7 million. I signed it immediately. Christine called me 2 hours after receiving the termination letter. I'd never heard her so angry. What the hell did you do? Me? I didn't do anything. You're the one who committed fraud. I did not commit fraud. That was our agreement. You did the work. I put my name on it. Right. Which means you misrepresented yourself as the technical advisor. You signed a contract saying you'd provide services you had no ability to provide. That's fraud, Christine. You can't do this. That's my equity. My money. Actually, it's the company's equity. And they're giving it to the person who actually earned it. Me. I'll sue you. I'll sue them. I'll take you back to court. Go ahead. I have 2 years of documentation proving I did all the work. What do you have? Your signature on a contract you violated? She hung up on me. I smiled for the first time in months. Christine made good on her threat. She sued DataSync for wrongful termination. She sued me for conspiracy and interference. She got Kellerman back on retainer and went to war. But she was fighting a losing battle. DataSync had everything documented. Every email I'd sent. Every meeting I'd attended. Every technical decision I'd guided. 2 years of proof that I was the real technical advisor, and Christine was just a name on paper. Her own emails hurt her case. There were messages where she told colleagues I was handling the DataSync stuff for her, where she'd forwarded technical questions to me because she didn't understand them, where she'd admitted she was just the face of the advisory role. Her lawyer tried to argue it was a marital arrangement, that married couples often divide labor this way, that it didn't constitute fraud. The judge didn't buy it. This wasn't a marital arrangement. This was a business contract with a company that had no knowledge of the arrangement. Christine had represented herself as technically qualified and then outsourced the work without disclosure. That was fraud. Case dismissed. Christine's equity remained terminated. My new contract stood. 3 months later, the DataSync acquisition closed. Tech giant paid $85 million. The board approved it unanimously, including me, the actual technical advisor. My 2% equity was worth $1.7 million, minus taxes. I cleared about $1.1 million after the government took their cut. $1.1 million. More money than I'd ever seen in my life. Money I'd actually earned. Money that Christine had tried to steal from me just like she'd stolen everything else. The check arrived on a Thursday. I deposited it and sat in my studio apartment, staring at my bank account balance, not quite believing it was real. For the first time since the divorce, I felt like maybe things would be okay. Maybe I hadn't lost everything after all. I used part of the money to find a better apartment. Nothing crazy, just a nice 2-bedroom in a good neighborhood. I bought real furniture. Got a decent car, nothing flashy, just something reliable that didn't remind me of Christine's jokes about my old Honda. I paid off my divorce lawyer, settled all my debts, put a chunk in savings, invested the rest. And then I did something I should have done years ago. I went back to my own project. The small business platform I'd abandoned to work on DataSync. It was still there, collecting dust on my GitHub. Still functional. Still useful. I spent a weekend cleaning it up, updating dependencies, fixing bugs. Then I started marketing it. Really marketing it. I built a website. Created demo videos. Reached out to small business owners. Offered free trials. And slowly, people started using it. First dozens, then hundreds. They loved it. It solved real problems for them. Made their lives easier. Did exactly what I designed it to do. A year after the divorce, my platform had 2,000 paying customers. I was making about $15,000 a month in recurring revenue. Not enough to quit my day job yet, but getting there. I hired a part-time developer to help, then a customer service person, then a sales contractor. The business was growing. Actually growing. On its own merit. Not because of venture capital or aggressive scaling or any of the things Christine had pushed me toward. Just because it was good and useful and people wanted it. I was happy. Genuinely happy. Happier than I'd been in years. Maybe happier than I'd been during my entire marriage. I ran into Christine once, at a coffee shop downtown. She was with Blake. They both looked miserable. She saw me. I saw the flash of anger in her eyes. The bitterness. The resentment. I just nodded and walked past. I had nothing to say to her. She'd taken everything from me once, but I'd gotten something better back. Not just money. My self-respect. My autonomy. My life. The ironic thing? If Christine had just been honest, she would have gotten half that equity in the divorce. Community property laws. If the equity had been in my name, she'd have been entitled to half of it. But because she put it in her name to avoid conflicts of interest, because she committed fraud, because she tried to take credit for work she didn't do, she ended up with nothing. Her greed and dishonesty cost her $850,000. I think about that sometimes. How the same contract she used to take credit for my work became the thing that gave it all back to me. How her name on that paper, which seemed like such a victory for her at the time, became the smoking gun that proved her fraud. She played herself, and I reaped the benefits. People asked me what I learned from all this. From the divorce, the betrayal, the loss, the comeback. First, read every contract. Every word. Every clause. You never know what might save you later. Second, document everything. I had 2 years of emails and meeting records that proved I'd done the work. Without that documentation, I would have had no case. Third, never let someone else take credit for your work. I let Christine put her name on my accomplishments because I trusted her. Because I thought we were a team. That trust cost me everything. Don't make the same mistake. Fourth, karma is real, but sometimes you have to help it along. I could have just accepted that Christine got the equity, let her win, walked away bitter and defeated. But I read the contract. I found the loophole. I fought back. And fifth, the best revenge is success. Not just getting back at someone who hurt you, but actually building something good. Something that matters. Something that makes you happy. I heard through mutual friends what happened to Christine after she lost the lawsuit. Her firm wasn't happy about the fraud allegations. Having a partner accused of misrepresentation and contract fraud? Bad for business. Bad for reputation. They asked her to resign. She did, but not before they clawed back some of her partnership equity. Something about ethical violations. I don't know the details, and honestly I don't care. She tried to start her own consulting firm. It didn't go well. Turns out a lot of people in the industry had heard about the lawsuit. About her taking credit for work she didn't do. About the fraud. No one wanted to work with her. Blake left her about 6 months after I saw them at the coffee shop. Apparently, he'd been expecting a wealthy girlfriend. When Christine lost her job and her reputation tanked, he found someone else. She sold the house. Downsized to a condo. Last I heard, she was working as a consultant for some no-name firm making a fraction of what she used to make. I'd feel bad for her if she hadn't done it all to herself. My platform now has over 5,000 customers. I'm making $45,000 a month in revenue. I quit my day job 6 months ago to work on it full-time. I have a team of 8 people. Developers, customer service, marketing. We're small but we're profitable. We're growing steadily. We're helping real businesses solve real problems. And it's all mine. My code. My vision. My company. No one to take credit for my work. No one to put their name on my accomplishments. No one to steal what I've built. I'm dating someone new. Her name is Sophia. She's a teacher. She makes decent money but nothing crazy. She drives a 10-year-old Subaru and thinks it's the best car ever made. She's never once asked how much my business makes. Never compared herself to me. Never made me feel small. We're taking things slow. I'm not ready to rush into anything. But it's nice, comfortable, healthy. Everything my marriage to Christine wasn't. There's one more piece to this story. Something that happened about 2 months ago that felt like the final punctuation mark on the whole saga. I got an email from Christine. First time she'd contacted me in over a year. The subject line was, "Can we talk?" I almost deleted it. Almost blocked her and moved on. But curiosity got the better of me. I opened it. The email was short. "Marcus, I know I have no right to ask you for anything. But I'm in a difficult situation financially. I know you got the data sync payout. I was wondering if you'd be willing to help me out. Just a loan. I'll pay you back. Please." I read it 3 times. Each time, I felt a different emotion. First anger, then satisfaction, then nothing. I didn't feel the need to gloat. Didn't feel the urge to write back and tell her all the ways she'd wronged me. Didn't even feel particularly vindictive. I just felt done. I wrote back a single sentence. No. Not. No, because you cheated on me. Not. No, because you took everything in the divorce. Not. No, because you tried to steal equity I earned. Just. No. Because I didn't owe her an explanation. Didn't owe her my money. Didn't owe her anything. She wrote back immediately. A longer email this time. About how she was sorry. How she'd made mistakes. How she'd lost everything and needed help. How I was the only person she could turn to. I deleted it without reading the whole thing. And I blocked her email address. That chapter of my life was over. She'd taken everything once, but she'd never take anything from me again. Not my money. Not my time. Not even my anger. She was nothing to me now. And that felt better than any revenge could have. Sometimes I think about the guy I was during that marriage. The guy who let his wife put her name on his work because he trusted her. Who ignored red flags because he wanted to believe in the relationship. Who walked out of divorce court with nothing and thought his life was over. That guy was naive, trusting to a fault. Willing to sacrifice himself to keep the peace. I'm not that guy anymore. I'm harder now. More careful. I read contracts. I document everything. I don't let people take credit for my accomplishments. Some people might say I'm jaded, cynical, that I've lost my ability to trust, maybe. But I've also gained something. Self-respect, boundaries, the understanding that being kind doesn't mean being a doormat. And I've learned that sometimes the thing that seems like a loss is actually setting you up for something better. Christine took everything in the divorce. That's true. But she didn't take the one thing that actually mattered. The one contract with her name on it that proved she was a fraud. That contract gave me back more than just money. It gave me proof that I was the one who'd done the work, that I had value, that my contributions mattered. It gave me justice in a situation where I thought there was none. And it taught me the most important lesson of all. You can lose everything material and still win. As long as you don't lose yourself. I lost the house, the cars, the savings, the dog, my marriage, my sense of security. But I kept my integrity, my work ethic, my ability to build things that matter. And in the end, that's what allowed me to rebuild. Not the $1.1 million, though that certainly helped. But the knowledge that I could create something from nothing. That I had skills and value that no one could take from me. Christine tried to destroy me. And for a while, she almost succeeded. But she made one critical mistake. She put her name on a contract she couldn't fulfill. She committed fraud to take credit for my work. And that fraud became the thread that unraveled her entire scheme. So yeah, my ex took everything in the divorce. Except the one contract with her name on it. The contract that proved she was a liar and a fraud. The contract that gave me back what I'd earned. The contract that turned my biggest loss into my biggest win. If you're going through a divorce right now, or a betrayal, or any situation where you feel like you've lost everything, I want you to know something. Read the fine print. Document your work. Know your worth. Because sometimes the thing that seems like it defeated you is actually the thing that will save you. Christine thought putting her name on that contract was smart. It avoided conflicts of interest. It gave her credit for work she didn't do. It put her in control. But it also created a paper trail. Proof of fraud. Evidence that she'd misrepresented herself. And in the end, that's what brought her down and lifted me back up. The same contract that took everything from me gave it all back, with interest. I'm doing well now. Better than I was during my marriage, honestly. I have a business I'm proud of, a team I respect, a girlfriend who treats me like an equal, a life that's actually mine. Christine has, whatever she has. I don't know and I don't care. She took the house, the car, the savings, the dog. She took credit for my work. She tried to take my future. But she couldn't take who I am, what I can build, my ability to fight back. And that one contract, the one she signed in her own name, thinking it would benefit her, became the weapon I used to reclaim everything she'd stolen. Poetic justice? Maybe. Karma? Definitely. Satisfying? Absolutely. So here's to the contracts we sign without reading, to the clauses we forget about, to the fine print that saves us when we need it most. And here's to everyone who's lost everything and rebuilt, who's been knocked down and gotten back up, who's been betrayed and found a way to win anyway. You're stronger than you think. Your work matters more than you know. And sometimes, the thing that defeats you becomes the thing that saves you. You just have to read the contract.